My boyfriend, M18, places his entire self-worth on me, F18, loving him to the point where I deem it unhealthy. So I'm an 18-year-old girl who has been together with my boyfriend, also 18, since April. Our relationship was a surprise for pretty much everyone, even me and GL. It's weird to say all of this, but I am not bad looking. I have attractive features and take care of myself and do receive compliments. Additionally, I care about my academics and have big plans for my future in the fields of engineering. Personally, I do not deem my boyfriend as unattractive or not handsome in any way since I adore his looks, but what truly attracts me is his personality. Now the thing is that, though I'm not bad looking, I do not attract much attention from boys since I dress rather modest and do not engage in random makeout scenes etc. I don't have anything against it per se, I just wouldn't have felt comfortable as I'm not that confident. Additionally, I have strict parents that do not let me go out after 7 p.m. and forbid any boy stuff until I turned 18. Therefore, and because I prefer spending time with girls, I was never really involved with a boy. Sure, a few crushes here and there, but nothing serious, until I met my boyfriend. Especially boys are surprised by my personality once I end up becoming a little more comfortable, and as soon as they realize I won't be easy, they distance themselves, usually in favor for me. My boyfriend, however, never backed down, which took me by surprise as he was one of the few who were willing to put up with me and my weirdness. It actually took him 1.5 years for him to build up the courage and ask me out, and from there on everything happened rather fast and he asked me to be his girlfriend. Now the thing is that I am originally from Eastern Europe, which is why I had a certain mindset about men. I was used to princess treatment as all the men in my family did nothing but spoil me. They were tall and muscular, but if I wanted to paint their nails? Alright, but just the pinky. Facial masks? Yeah, but only 5 minutes. Too tired to walk? We'll carry you. About to hit my head? They would predict it and already soften the hit by placing their hand on the spot. I was their princess and always got my way, which is why I'm used to men treating me that way. Now my boyfriend is exactly the same. He tells me how much he adores me, how I'm a blessing from a God he only started believing in because of my existence, cheesy but cute, and so on. He treats me like I am his princess, and whilst I do appreciate it, I don't voice my gratitude often. When I genuinely care about a person or when I have to express my feelings, my brain just shuts off and doesn't function the way it should. Some people refer to me as a little cold, which only makes matters worse. When my boyfriend does something that my friends e.g. consider as unbelievably kind, it feels natural for me and I will give him a small thanks at best. But I do give him kisses and hugs and all that because it's just easier for me to tell him that way that I love and appreciate him. Now I never thought that to become a problem as my boyfriend has, or I thought, a good amount of self-confidence. Well, apparently that is not the case. Everyone always tells my boyfriend that I am out of his league and that it's basically a miracle that I gave him a chance. Stupidly, he thinks the same and believes that he is not good enough for me. He sometimes said that in the past, but I always brushed it off because I thought it wasn't that deep and that he was just trying to compliment me. Well, I was so wrong. A few days ago I had a small argument with my boyfriend, which ended up to him confessing that he's afraid that I do not like him as much as he likes me. This had 2 reasons. Because I did not reassure or compliment him enough. Because he thought he wasn't good enough for me. He said that he could not understand how I loved him when not even he could love himself. My heart shattered in a way it never did. I couldn't say anything because I was at loss for words. I'm not the best in emotionally supporting people. So instead I tried to explain to him as to why I did what I did and about my extreme difficulties with expressing my emotions and feelings. He kept on apologizing for how stupid he was to make such a big deal out of it and that he was fine. So the thing is, I am still a virgin and losing my V card is an important step for me. Not because I'm afraid of becoming pregnant as I'm on birth control because of my heavy periods, but because I grew up being the little girl of the family. The pure innocent doll that only loved her daddy, her uncles, and her cousins. It's silly, but having a boyfriend made me feel like I lost a part of that identity, understandable since I am 18 and not 7 anymore, but losing my virginity? It feels like I wouldn't be their little girl anymore and it freaks me out. My boyfriend has been wanting to do it for some time, but I always brushed it off and told him that I was just not feeling ready yet. I didn't elaborate as to why. Now, in his little confession, he said that he was afraid that I did not want to have intimacy with him because of him, which is absolutely not true, and that he was scared of losing me that way. I explained to him as to why that was not true and tried to get him out of his mindset. I just noticed that he is so obsessed with me that he puts my well-being above his and places all his self-worth in me loving him. He also talks about how he wants to marry me, etc., and all of this is just extremely overwhelming. He is the first boy I ever got close to and it scares me that he's already planning so much of our future together. I told him that I may want to study in England and that may put a strain on our relationship. He said that he'd go wherever I go, completely disregarding his own wishes and well-being. He's so scared of losing me and so focused on me that it's scaring me a little. Not in a OMG he is going to lock me in his basement kind of thing, but in a that if I broke up with him for whatever reason, he would lose his only happy spark. I don't want to break up with him and I think I'd like a future with him. I just want him to gain self-confidence and focus on his needs, too. I want him to love himself the way I love him. I want him to be secure and believe in himself without me having to praise him 24/7. I want him to be happy and in peace with himself. So once again, I'm bad at all this emotion stuff, so I would greatly welcome any and all advice you could give me. Next story 2. I can't tell if my girlfriend is cheating or selling pics of herself. A bit of background, I'm 23 and my girlfriend is 21 and I've known her for about 6 years. Initially, we were just friends who occasionally hooked up, given the distance between us. One day, she expressed interest in taking things further, but I didn't respond at the time. We kept in touch but less frequently. Fast forward a few years and now I'm studying in America and I've come back to the UK for an extended winter break and we started speaking again a bit as she had a glow up. So I set up a date to go to Winter Wonderland in London. The date and everything was set and when it came time for me to pick her up she said she was busy with her stepmom and forgot to cancel. I was angry but undeterred. So when February rolled around I messaged her about a Valentine's date and she said yes and I planned it but I was reluctant as she bailed before. Lo and behold the date went ahead. We had a good date and we had some extracurricular activities in the car. After the date we saw each other for near enough every day till the end of February when I had to go back to America. Before I went I told her that I really like her and I wanted to see where it could lead and that I wanted to be exclusive whilst I was away. I know it sounds like it's rushed but we kinda pick up where we left off all them years back. She said she had feeling for me too and wanted to see where it would lead. Now I'm not a fool. I told her that if she lost that feeling whilst I was away that she should let me know and I would be okay with it. I went and came back in May so I was only gone for 3 and in those 3 months we FaceTimed and messaged every day like you do in a long distance relationship. I didn't see any cause for concern apart from her going out most weekends but she was very social before we started getting together so it wasn't a shock to me. Now I've been in the UK for the last 4 months and we spend a lot of time together going on dates and other things and I've started to notice things that could be considered red flags like whenever I touch her phone she immediately grabs it off me and whenever she is bring up something from the past there is always a guy involved or it is to do with her sleeping with another guy. I don't get jealous because I'm not that type of guy but as of recent I've been feeling somewhat when she brings these stories. There are always 2 guys she talks about a lot, one being one of her brother's friends, both being people who I have never met but have met all her other siblings and friends, and another guy who we will call Ted. We will get to him later. Whenever she is out she always says that her brother's friend is going to drop her home and I'm always okay with it until one time she sent me a Snapchat of her in a car saying she was on her way home which should have been a 20-minute journey, so I told her to message when's she home. My girlfriend didn't message me for another 2 hours even though I had messaged her once or twice to see if she was okay. When she Flynn ally replied, she said she was on the phone to one of her girl mates and had been at home for the last hour and a half. I immediately thought something didn't seem right, but I didn't say anything. Now the main event. Last week I stayed round hers and she had work in the morning for 5 hours. She has a Fire Stick in her TV, so whenever you turn it on and leave it idle it would go through pics from her phone. Whenever we would be in bed together and this happened, she would hurry to find the remote, and in some cases the pic wasn't bad so she would let me see it before going off it. Now the day she went to work I turned the TV on and continued to scroll on my phone. After a while the pics start appearing. I don't take much notice of it as first until I saw a screenshot of an online form she had filled out for some prescriptions for STIs, and the form explicitly asked if she or a partner had an STI and she had answered it with a yes. I was shocked because when I looked at the day it was from March, just 1 month after I left. This prompted me to go into her Fire Stick and look at the picture that were there. This is something I wouldn't normally do. As I was looking through her pictures I saw one from June and it was a screenshot of her, a conversation from her and Ted. Told you we would get back to him. In the screenshot I saw her banking detail and 4 pictures that she sent to him. As she sent 4 I could see the first one and half of the second one, with both of them being nudes. When I saw them I started to cry and couldn't believe what I saw, but I carried on looking through and didn't see anything else from the time we started talking again. It's been 2 weeks since I saw them and I haven't told her yet as I don't know how she will react. I really don't know if I can trust this girl, but we haven't had a single argument or anything like that, and she's a really lovely girl, but I can't shake this feeling that I'm having towards her. To make matters worse, I'm flying back to America at the end of August and I booked ticket for her to come for a week. How should I tell her what I found and what's the best way of going about it?